Hello everyone, my name is Lucius Brandt and welcome to my first SMITE 2 tier list. We're gonna make a tier list with the latest update of SMITE 2 where Amaterasu and Nuwa have been added and see who the best gods are. I'm gonna make the tier list as beginner friendly as possible. I'm gonna cover a lot of subjects about a certain god or gods in general, or characters, however you wanna call them, and let you know what their strengths, weaknesses are, and how well you have to be able to play them or know them to be successful with them. So I guess let's begin. The tier list is set up. S tier is going to be best of the best. You either pick them or you ban them. I am going to base this off of Conquest. More so even rank conquest, but not much difference with normal conquest, except you ban gods that are not being played that much. So first up, like I said, S tier, best of the best. You either ban them or you pick them if they're not banned. A tier, you can do nothing wrong with them. They're good, not maybe the certain updates, not the best for them, but they're still top picks. B tier, then you're gonna get into the range of, do you have a lot of experience with the god? Have you played the god a lot? That's where you can start getting B tier. They might not be the best god overall, but if they're played well, or if you can play him well, you're gonna be successful. C and D tier are just bad. They need updates, they need buffs. Basically, that's it. So, let's start. Amaterasu. Right now, I think she's easily S tier. From all the gods that are in SMITE right now, I don't think she has a single counter to her. She is strong, especially with the strength and intelligence changes, the way abilities are being balanced in SMITE 2. You can go strength, intelligence, either full strength, full intelligence, or go hybrid. You can go for protection, but there's a lot of items that can go either way. She's good. Now her mechanical side, she is not the easiest to play. You have to have quite a bit of knowledge of the character and combinations of abilities to use. That way, she might, for beginners, be A tier if you're not comfortable with playing warriors as well. But let's say you're playing, you know how to play a warrior, or you like warriors and you want to learn them. Amaterasu is gonna definitely help you to learn how warriors are played. She can go into the solo lane or the jungle lane. I would prefer in the solo lane, because going hybrid, frontline, tank, and still doing a lot of damage, if she gets ahead early, she's a menace and you will not be able to stop her unless you're gonna fully group up as a team and get her. But for beginners, that's probably not gonna happen. So Amaterasu, if you want to learn her right now, it's the time. Anhur. Now, I might be a bit biased because Anhur is my most played god, most favorite god of all time in SMITE. So I would put him at an S tier for me personally. But I feel like he's okay. He's good. He's not bad at anything, but he doesn't excel at a lot of stuff either. He has everything he has to have as a carry, a hunter. He has the slow, the pillar, the first ability, which you can use the impale, the second ability to stun someone on the pillar or the walls. He has a stun in a certain situation, so that's great. He has a knock-up with his jump. You can use it aggressively or defensively, which is very good against 1v1 situations. And the ultimate, I feel like the ultimate is a slight nerf from SMITE 1, because in SMITE 1 his ultimate ability would just fire multiple projectiles. Now they have a certain timing and the last projectile is much slower, or it has a build-up time before it's fired. I don't like that much, like it that much. But overall, he's good. He's good. Let's leave it at that. Anubis. Now, Anubis is always being played a certain way. He excels at lifesteal builds because his passive allows it. Honestly, now that I think about it, I've not looked at his passive in Smite 2. Is it still the same as Smite 1? Let me look it up real fast. Now, the lower his life gets, the more lifesteal he gets. That's the main part you need to look at. The protection is nice, but nah, doesn't really help you that much. It's specifically the lifesteal. You can build him as any mage, as all the other mages as you want, but he has a very specific build where he excels at. If you go full lifesteal, I mean the lifesteal book, damn, I need to know my items. If you go for Bloodbound book as a first item, it immediately gives you 15% lifesteal, which is insane already. Then you go for some more damage, because the intelligence is not that high. Gives you cooldown rate, which gives you more faster damage output, but that's not really important. It's the lifesteal you want. Now, as a second item, you best go for some penetration or just full intelligence. I would suggest as a second item penetration and then a third extra damage output. But in the end, you go for just the lifesteal items. After your 3 main items, which the first one being Bloodbound book, that's a tongue twister and a half for someone who is not native English speaking. If you're low health and you just use your third ability, your ultimate, you're golden. You will probably kill them and not die. If you stun them in the process, even better. I think Anubis is, for a beginner, honestly, for beginner players who want to play mage and don't really know how to start it, I think Anubis might be like the easiest and strongest. However, I still need to compare to the other S tiers, and Amaterasu will destroy an Anubis. A good Amaterasu will destroy an okay Anubis. Ares. Ares is also a difficult character in my opinion. Maybe not to play, but just to rate him in general. I think he might be C or B. He is good. I think in Smite 1 he was better, but he's good in Smite 2. He's okay, but there is better supports or tanks or guardians. His chain is great. He got a buff, which if he uses his third ability, he can still chain people. Or use his first ability, which is great. The scaling with his second ability is a lot different from Smite 1, but I think in the end it's better. Now, he doesn't really get the power buff from aura items he did in Smite 1, but he kind of gets the same, but not as high as in Smite 1. He still has a bit of oomph as a guardian, but that was his greatest strength in Smite 1, and I feel like he doesn't have that in Smite 2. The ultimate from Ares will easily either get rid of the other team's beats or their ultimate. The win is not necessarily to pull them and kill them, just to burn their abilities or actives. If that's your job, Ares is your guy. It's great. Now he is gonna need some experience to be played at a good level, because he has very low mobility. If he gets caught out of position, you are probably dead. Athena. Now, compared to Ares, she is much better. She's very good. She is easy to play. You just dash forward with her first ability. You use a taunt, which makes people look at you and come near you or to you. You have a damaging ability, and then an ultimate, a global ultimate, which you can target a friendly and you teleport to him, giving him, I think, more protection and damage mitigation. And also, when you land, you're gonna do damage in a circle around you, which is good. It's not insane, but it's good. Now, instead of Ares having to use his ultimate to burn beads, Athena has a normal ability that will also easily burn a lot of beads. Everything that people have to become CC immune, Athena is gonna get rid of if she taunts you. Athena can be walking around doing nothing, but just being there, she's gonna make people nervous and maybe have some misplays happen, which is good. That's what you want to happen. Now, I think second most broken character right now. Well, I would not say, maybe not broken. That's maybe too harsh. Yeah, second most strong. Yeah, I would say broken, to be fair. Bacchus. If you're playing Rank Conquest and you don't ban him, he's gonna get picked. If he does not get picked, what are you doing? He is strong. He has a lot of CC, he's tanky, and he also has a lot of damage without actually having to buy damage, which is insanely good. If he's not banned, pick him. If you play support or even solo, he's great. I've seen him jungle, but nah, I would not support the jungle pick for Bacchus. Honestly, there's not much else to be said about Bacchus. If he is banned, it's fair. It's people know what they're doing probably, or they just follow what everyone is banning because he's strong. Now, it can change with updates. I might change every update the tier list. I'm gonna put it in the description below, and every time it changes, or in my opinion it's changing the tier list, I'm gonna make another video. Bellona, she is A tier. Easy A tier. She is good, she has a lot of damage, she's quite tanky, she's just not as tanky as Amaterasu, I think, but she's more annoying in my opinion. Just like Athena, she can walk around and people will make some misplays. So she has 3 abilities which all do different things. She has a disarm, which is great for dealing with hunters or carries. Even some mages are gonna struggle when they cannot auto attack you. Cernunnos, I think right now he did get buffed. Cernunnos, he did get a buff. I think his second ability, the one he clears the minion waves with. Now roots, if you directly hit a god, he didn't have it before the update, so they changed it back because in Smite 1 he does have it. His ultimate polymorphs or morphs people into pigs, or not pigs, like the thing Pumbaa is, kind of. He is right now, I think he might be the worst character in the game, to be honest. I barely see him being played, and if I see him, I never see him have success. He might be okay in arena because his ultimate is okay for team fights, but he has an escape, yeah, but it doesn't do much. It does a little bit of damage, but no, he only has 3 abilities basically. His second ability, third ability, and his ultimate. His second ability just clears the waves with his projectile. Third ability is a dash that does a bit of damage, but not much, not like Anhur's jump that also has a knockup, which is much more effective. His ultimate has CC. It changes people and they cannot attack for a certain amount of time. But the downside is if they CC immune it, they ult with their CC immune ult, or they beat, your ultimate is gone and it doesn't do enough damage for it to be effective without the CC ability. Now his first ability, he changes seasons kind of, which change his auto attacks. He has a lifesteal auto attack, a more power based auto attack, a protection reduction auto attack, and a slow auto attack. You have to be very great at Cernunnos to be able to handle those changes, switches during a fight. A team fight, you have a bit more time to react sometimes, but in a 1v1, a quick 1v1 against another carry, you're gonna have troubles. You're not gonna think about it too much about switching. But if you do, he honestly might even be A tier. But if you don't fully use its potential, it's D tier. You don't use it that much. The lifesteal is good. Mostly use the power. But that's about it. Not gonna brag. I was once in SMITE 1, the number 1 in rank conquest with Cernunnos. Chaac. Now, Chaac is also a god that either goes into B tier or A tier. I think he's more leaning on the side of B tier because he's a very specific god. By that I mean not a lot of people play him, but the people that play him usually play him really well because they like the character a lot and they play him a lot. It's really player specific. I would not say he's bad. I would not say he's as good as Bellona or definitely not Amaterasu. But he can get a lot of work done alone and being the front line of a team fight as well. Just by throwing the axe, you can play a lot of mind games in a team fight or a 1v1. His ultimate does a crazy damage number and also silences gods, which means when a god is silenced, they can still run and use mobility, but they cannot use any abilities anymore. They can still auto attack, but they cannot use any abilities. If you want to pick him up or play him, just know he's not played a lot, so people have a hard time playing against him as well because he's not played that much, which is also a good thing. If you then play a character who is really good, you might win even when you're at a disadvantage in playtime. Next we have Fenrir, our first real jungler really. I would say he's A tier. He's okay, he has a lot of stuff, he can do a lot of things. He has a jump which stuns, he has a lifesteal in his kits, a power buff I think as well. He has a high damaging ability which also kind of is a dash to a certain degree. He has an ultimate that can CC someone, grab someone and throw them somewhere else, which is very good if you have, for example, like an Athena as a support or an Ares which can easily burn beats, or even Bacchus. If they don't have beats or any CC immunity, it's a free kill basically. There's gonna be another jungler that's way better than Fenrir. Honestly, I might even put him B tier because knowing what's coming up, Fenrir is a player specific pick. You don't see him that much, but he's good all around. Hades. Hades is not the best. He's also right now in SMITE 2. I think I've only seen him like once or twice maybe. He had a lot of success, but he is difficult. He once was a guardian, then they switched him to a mage, and I think in my opinion that was the worst change they could have done for the character, because he had a lot of upsides of being a guardian with getting more protections over levels, but the reason they switched him to a mage is because he's only played as a mage. Even if he was a guardian, you played him as a mage, but he was strong that way because he got the benefits of being a guardian, getting protections with levels, not only from items, but now he doesn't get any protection or barely any protection from items. Now his kit did get a buff. He can do a lot more with his ultimate, his abilities, which is good. When he ults, he can now use an ability or his dash and still be ulting, which he could not in SMITE 1. Or he cannot in SMITE 1. Yeah, he's just not good. Basically, most gods right now in SMITE 2 can get in and out very easily and very quickly if they want to. Hecate, however her name is pronounced. I think right now she is the strongest mage. Enormous amount of damage, very quickly, and her ultimate is fantastic. Her ultimate basically spans across a whole lane. Everyone inside of it gets teleported to the place she puts the second portal at. It does an insane amount of damage, and you're basically stunned when you're getting out of the teleportation. So the quick fight is going to be over very quickly if no one beats her ultimate or gets out of her ultimate. Now, the only downside her ultimate has is if you jump, you're out of it. You can dash out of it, you can jump out of it. That's the only down part, which in my opinion is good, but because if that was not the case, but right now she is very strong. Jing Wei. Jing Wei right now got a heavy nerf. She got really affected by the itemization nerfs. Critical chance is heavily nerfed this update, specifically to target her and Sol, but she feels it. She's still probably the best hunter right now, carry in the game. Unless you can play Anhur better, I would choose Anhur, but if you want a good hunter carry, Jing Wei is the way to go. She is very safe, she can get in and out very quickly. She has a lot of mobility using her own abilities. She can dash up in the air and then use another dash to get out. Her ultimate is very safe and easily to get out of tricky situations. And she can CC the other team pretty heavily as well. Nothing to comment. She doesn't really have any downsides. If she gets behind, she can just farm up. She doesn't really have... She's gonna do less damage, but other than that, she doesn't really have that much to be afraid of. Kukulkan. He is... okay. He's not... insanely... He is insanely strong. Every mage is, at a certain point, insanely strong, but he's okay. He is basically the same as SMITE 1. Very easy to play, not too difficult to hit his abilities. His ultimate, probably still the best objective secure in the game when I talk about Gold Fury, Pyromancer, Fire Giant. If you play Kukulkan, that's your job. Objective secure. His ultimate, if you're losing a team fight, his ultimate can change a fight very quickly if you hit the right targets. But it's easy to see coming and step out of the way. Loki is A tier. Loki right now, he's probably picked every game as a jungler because he's straight up annoying. He can go invisible, he's fast, he does a lot of damage, his ultimate is insane because it has a stun, and his abilities just work together so well. If you catch someone in the jungle alone and you're at the same level or a bit above, you're gonna have zero trouble killing them and still living with enough health to roam the jungle more and invade the other's jungle. He is strong right now. Not the strongest, but very strong right now. But he's always been strong. Now Mordred. Mordred has seen ups and downs. Like the first week, couple of days, 2 weeks maybe, I would have put him in S tier because he was picked every game. He was played really well. But I think that's because people didn't know how to play against him. I think that was his biggest strength, not knowing how to be played against. Now that he's been out for some time, he is good, but he's very weak when he gets behind. If he falls behind in XP levels, he is really weak. He's having trouble to kill people, which he should have, which is his job, to kill people. As a warrior, he needs to be frontline. He's not that great frontline. He does a lot of damage, but if he gets behind, his frontline days are over. If he is ahead, he can be annoying, but he can still be dealt with. His ultimate though is maybe one of the strongest right now. He can run through walls, he can just go to people, if he can knock up multiple people in his ultimate, which makes time for your team to push up and follow up. He's good, but you have to know how to play him, I think, in my opinion. Neith has always been good. There's nothing wrong with Neith. She has been the most basic god in Smite 1, and she's still being the most basic okay character in Smite 2. However, I think she excels more in Smite 2 in ability damage and being played as a mage than in Smite 1. In Smite 1 you could play her as a hunter and really go for attack speed, critical with I don't know what. But in Smite 2 she excels at being a mage, basically, using her abilities as the main damage source. And I think that's the way she has to be played right now. When you play as a mid laner, Neith is a valuable option. If you want to play as a carry, I would not look at Neith first. I would look at others first. Now, we have the second new character into Smite 2, Nuwa. A lot of people would put Nuwa in the S tier, and I think for beginners she might honestly be S tier. You know where everyone on the other team is whenever you ult with Nuwa. So it gives you a lot of information about the other team and their whereabouts, which is very good in Smite. Nuwa is strong. Now Odin. Odin is bad. His ultimate is still a cage where you cannot get out of unless you have a jump. Hit the cage a certain area 5 times and the cage falls. He doesn't have a lot of damage. He can be annoying if he jumps in, but if he jumps in, he jumped in and he cannot get out. If he gets jumped, it's difficult for him to get out unless he uses the ultimate, and even then it's because a lot of people are using combat blink right now, and you can just blink out of the cage. If you want to play a warrior, go for Amaterasu or Bellona or even Chaac, but I think he's slightly better than Hades. I would prefer an Odin much more than Hades in a solo lane. If you ever want to play Hades, don't play him as a mid laner. You're not gonna do well. Play him as a solo laner and try to make him like a mage warrior type of god. You can also play him as a support, but nah, that's really specific. I would choose other gods first. Now Sol also got nerfed indirectly, but she is still S tier. She is right now not the best mid laner. She's a mage, but she's the best carry. She got nerfed indirectly by crit chance that got changed or nerfed. It's lower or does less damage, I think. However, she has a built-in passive, which makes her attacks, the more she hits, the stronger her basic attacks get. Using crit, it just multiplies, and it's not as bad as before the update. She was insane. She's still very, very, very good. Slightly below insane, but she is good. Whenever I want to play a hunter and Sol is still open, you pick her. If she doesn't get banned, you pick Sol as a carry. Next up, we have, I think, the most banned god right now, Susano. The best jungler in the game, maybe the best god in the game. He is unrivaled in the jungle or solo lane. He is insanely strong. He has a lot of mobility, much more than any other god right now in the game. In Smite 1 there are a lot of counters to him, in my opinion, but right now in Smite 2 he has 0 counters. You have to play well together to succeed against him. If you're in a 1v1 in the jungle, he wins. If he ganks you and you're caught out of position, he wins. There is no getting out of it. Even 1v2, he will probably either kill you or get you low enough that you have to go back to base and just clears your horde jungle or clears your tower. If you want to be a good jungler and he's not banned, if you don't pick him, he's gonna be picked against you and you're probably gonna lose the jungle matchup no matter what. He is strong. Even if you don't know how to play jungle or play Susano himself, he still will be successful. Next up, we have Thanatos. Thanatos is good jungler. Okay, I think he's up there with Loki. If Loki is picked, Susano is banned, you go for Thanatos. If you want to do some high damage as a jungler, if you want to be more frontline jungle, then you go for Fenrir. But other than that, Thanatos, he can fly in with his ultimate. A lot of people don't realize it when you're flying in. Even if they're in a team fight, they have a lot of other stuff to look at, and you just go to the back line and kill their back line quickly and easily. He does not use any mana, he uses his health as ability casting, but all his abilities, or his first ability, heals a ton, does a lot of damage. He has a silence, which is great. He has a movement speed buff in his kit. He's alright. His third strike with a basic attack is a cleave attack, which means you hit everything around you, which is right now I think the only jungler that has it. The Morrigan, I don't think I've ever seen the Morrigan played yet. Maybe in arena once, that's it. Her concept is really strong. Her ultimate is changing into any character that's on the map at that point, or any character that's being played. I think she copies also the power the other god has, so if he's ahead, your ultimate change will also get that damage boost. Other than that, she can become invisible, but her damage output is really low and up close, which is not the best right now, because we have a lot of gods who can get in and out very fast. She's fun to play though. Ymir, next to Bacchus, the most played or best support. He has almost zero mobility, but they changed his wall. His first ability, he can put up a wall to block people, but it now knocks people up and knocks yourself forward, which can be used in very unique mobility ways. And I've seen a lot of them by now, and it's being crazy sometimes. But he's very good. He has a stun, a freeze, and every ability he hits, he does extra damage on that character. Great. He has a lot of damage output as a support, as a tank, and his ultimate is annoying. Good objective secure as well, like Gold Fury and Fire Giant. Our last character is Zeus. Now this might be a biased opinion, but I think Zeus might, some would say Zeus here or C maybe. I would put him at A, and in my experience I would put him at S. Whenever I play middle laner, I will probably play Zeus, because I think he's very underrated and very strong right now. He has to be played very careful, which means I'm gonna put him at, for beginners I would put him at B tier. And I don't want to be arrogant and say I'm a very good player. I am not a beginner, because I've played SMITE for a very, very long time. But he's strong. The change they did from SMITE 1 to SMITE 2 with his second ability made him much better. They brought his stun back with his third ability. That stun and damage combination is the thing Zeus has most success with. And that's the reason why he's so strong in my opinion. Now if you get caught out of position, he's pretty strong as well. You just drop everything on yourself and you might kill people, but you most probably will die yourself. If you get behind with Zeus, you can throw him in the trash. He's very difficult to come back from. You have to be very careful the way you play him when you're behind, but other than that, he's a very fun mage to play. Now, if you enjoyed this tier list, you have any comments, leave them down below. I would love to hear your feedback. Feel free to subscribe to my channel, because it helps me out with the content creation and I like to see my numbers rise. But anyway, thank you and I see you later. Bye bye.